Recording in
Yes, correct.
progress.
So yes, so we have our partner with us today from Reno Nation SG. The founder Kenneth will be joining us later, sharing some common questions that arise during like renovation period as well, and how does it link with feng shui. Yes. Oh, Christina, your uncle is Tiam Heng, our consultancy. Anybody know who's Tiam Heng? Is our customer? Okay, can. So yes. So let's without further ado. So just some ground rules to share. Okay. So we would appreciate if you have any question, do feel free to type in a Q&A section. Okay. And then so that our staff can reply you accordingly as well. And do type in a chat whenever, like, chit chat, make the whole session more engaging. And then it also make the speaker, have the feel to talk even more. Yeah, correct. Okay. So do type in your Q&A chat. Whenever you have any question, our staff on back end will be supporting and answering your queries accordingly. If it's not answered, right, we will actually bring it to the Q&A session towards the end, the last 15 minutes. And then we will ask Master Mark or Kenneth accordingly. Yeah. Okay. So I highlight quite a bit already. Yes. So without further ado, so before we start, right? Okay, let me introduce Master Mark. Okay, so for those who is like first time joining us, Master Mark is the up and rising star of Wei Feng Shui Group, who is groomed by his dad, Master Tan Kun Yong. So since young, right, he has been in this whole Feng Shui culture. Like I heard his story about when he's young, he need to memorize all the 八字口诀 and everything. Now that I'm learning 八字, I also need to memorize those 口诀. So yes, correct. So then so from young he has been memorizing all those 八字口诀. He has been in this whole feng shui environment, 有点耳濡目染. Then slowly he started making the decision, joining the company, starting off with being an editor, and then he's the person who came out with the idea of having prosper graph. Yeah, so a very simplified version of an overall view of like the whole year outlook, making feng shui very easy to understand in layman terms. Yeah, so he also has a modern twist, and blending in his modern and also his culture, his Western culture, because he used to study in overseas and all. So bringing back to Singapore, making it relevant to today's life of everyone. Yep. So without further ado, let's welcome Master Mark. Master Mark, please.
Hello, hi, good evening, everyone. It's good to see everyone coming in. There's a strong crowd tonight. I haven't been doing internal webinar for a while, but I haven't stopped talking. For the past few months, if you haven't seen me doing internal webinar, it's because I've been doing a lot of client talks. I was just telling my team, I haven't talked this much in my life for this period of time. So I got a break. It's good. Chinese New Year, for those people who know our company went for a 2 weeks break. I come back refresh. Happy to share new information with everyone again. Thank you, Reno Nation, for being our partner for today's webinar. I think it's a good synergy between a feng shui company and an ID company coming together to share the platform, so we can answer a lot of the questions that a lot of our clients or your clients from Reno Nation may have. Like, how do you combine feng shui? With ID? How do you make sure that ID can work with my feng shui master? There's always this kind of question that is bothering a lot of my clients. The good thing is Reno Nation is a very friendly company, so I'm pretty sure they work with a lot of feng shui masters and they're quite open to working with feng shui masters, as are we. We always work with ID. We welcome ID to work together with us, and we think there's a good synergy, and the whole point is to bring the best end result to our client, right? A house that feels prosperous and also look nice at the same time. You don't want to design your house to look like a Chinese temple. If you see this over here, it's because today we are also live on TikTok. So those people on TikTok, hi. If you want to listen to today's webinar, it is on how to select a good apartment for you and your family. selection is half the battle won. I always tell people, if you select a good home, half your feng shui is taken care of already, which is why selection of a home is such an important topic that we keep talking about. Talk so much, forget to share slide. Let me share slide now. Okay, so what is today's topic? Yes, today's topic is about the BTO coming in February, but really we are covering a wider topic. We are talking about how to select a unit that is good for you and your family, especially if you plan to live inside. If you're buying for investment, it's another consideration, but if you want to live inside, you want to make sure you are performing at your tip top after moving into this place, this is the topic for you. So let me go to my next slide. Before we move on, I just want to make sure that most of you already got your bar chart. If you haven't had your bar chart, my colleagues will put into the chat the link. Go and create your bar chart, because there's a part of the talk that would require you to understand your bar a little bit, so you can select a unit that is suitable for you, right? Suitability is also very important. Make sure you have your bar chart handy. At least know what are the favorable elements from your bar chart. Okay. So today we are talking about the selection of a unit, or selection of a house, or selection of, if you want to buy a piece of land, or anything of sorts. There are 4 key criteria in Wei Feng Shui that we use as consideration. The first is direction. You know, Feng Shui masters are, the moment they walk into your house, they take out their compass. What are they doing? They're measuring direction to make sure that the energy that is coming in to your house is coming from a good direction. We also want to talk about suitability. So I always give people this analogy. If you have good Feng Shui, does it mean that anyone can stay inside? It's not always the case. It's like ginseng is a really good herb, but is ginseng suitable for everyone? Maybe not. But if you have a house with bad Feng Shui, regardless of how suitable it is for you, it is quite pointless to stay in a house like that. So I always tell people, like, having good Feng Shui and having bad Feng Shui for your house is like eating ginseng and fried chicken. Ginseng might not be suitable everyone, but at least it's good for your body. But going into a bad Feng Shui house means you're eating fried chicken all the time. It may be suitable for you, may be suitable for your palate, but over a long period of time, it might not be good for your health. So both these criteria together are actually a very big part of what Feng Shui masters look out for. First, is your direction good? Secondly, is it suitable for you and your family member? The third point is shape. When we select a unit, the best shape is always an even shape. I wouldn't even call like square or rectangle or anything like that, but the even shape is really important. If you want to buy a round house, you can buy a round house as long as the house shape is even. Why is even so important? Imagine if you have a triangle house. When you have a triangle house, it's hard to gain stability. A lot of times we see units that we come in through the main door, and the main door is very narrow, and then towards the end it's very big. How do you plan for a house like that? Maybe the ID can give us some answer. Usually for this kind of house, from a Feng Shui point of view, they say the luck comes very slowly, but over time you will slowly feel it. But what if you get an inverted triangle house? That means you have a very big frontage, but towards the end of a house is very narrow. It's like a triangle inverted. Usually that means in the beginning when you're staying inside, it's very good, but towards the end, it starts to go downhill. So even house means that when I come in, it's the front and the back are even in shape. So over time, as you're staying, you will continue to prosper and continue to do well. And when we buy a house, we usually don't want to consider just 1 or 2 years. We want to consider for the long term, at least for 5 to 10 years, right? So the shape of the house also determines the stability of the household. When you have a house that is very unstable in shape, usually you have some aspects that are very strong and some aspects that are not very strong at all. Later, when we touch on shape, I will elaborate slightly more. So having a nice even shape is very, very important. And the last point, this is something that most Feng Shui master can overcome through date selection, but it's still important to know when is the good time to start renovation, when is a good time to move in. So luck cycle talks about timing. When the timing is good, you are tying everything together. You're tying the direction, you're tying the suitability, you're tying the shape together. And this is the last thing that you need to do before you move into the house. So timing really, really matters as well from a Feng Shui point of view, which is why you always see Feng Shui masters using this book, always selecting dates and stuff like that. We need to select a date that is good and suitable and also usable for that month or a certain period of time. So I will go into the 4 different points and give you some knowledge in selecting your next home. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is direction. How do we determine whether a direction is good or not? It's based on a 20-year luck cycle. We are in the cusp of going from one luck cycle to another luck cycle. We are currently in period 8, and every feng shui master would use this magic square. I call it magic square because it's quite magical. No matter how you add up the numbers, from top to bottom, from left to right, from top right to bottom left, from top left to bottom right, you always get 15. You always get 15 because it's based on this legendary 河图洛书 numbers. And this number is what feng shui masters use to make sure that the energy that is coming into your house is actually good. All the different direction means different things. So currently we are in period 8. So when we are in period 8, the number 8 is really, really good. And when number 8 is good, the opposite direction, because you add up becomes 15, right? The opposite direction is usually good as well, which is why starting from 2004 to 2023, this period, the northeast and the southwest of Singapore is also the most active. If you look to the northeast in Singapore, what do you get? You get Hougang, you get Punggol, you get Sengkang. That area really, really started being prosperous during that period of time. Before that was period 7. So 7 east and west was really good. So before 2004 and maybe throughout the 90s, you really have the east and west of Singapore that was developing really, really quickly. So in period 9, then we are looking out for the future luck cycle. When we buy a house, we don't want to buy a house for just this luck cycle, especially when we are at a period where we are going and transiting into an upcoming luck cycle. So the next luck cycle, you want to buy houses north and south. And of course, not everybody can afford to buy a house in the south because the south of Singapore is not very cheap, right? And of course, it's also not practical to tell people to live in the south side of a country or north side of a country, which is why orientation becomes a very, very important factor when it comes to buying houses. I have clients who tell me, regardless of what you tell me to do, I have to stay in Hougang because I live my whole life in Hougang, or I stay in Jurong. I live my whole life in Jurong. I can do anything, but I have to live in Jurong because Jurong is where I'm familiar with. And even for a small country like Singapore, people are so unwilling to move out from their individual estates. Imagine the rest of the world, which is why orientation of the unit is really important. Then this begs the question, right? How do we check orientation? How do I know whether my house is facing a good direction? First of all, let's clear this. In period 9, the best direction is south, followed by north. South is south-facing and north is north-facing. They bring different kind of energy, but if you are buying a house without looking for a feng shui master, if you want a foolproof, good feng shui house, at least choose a house that is facing south and north. The next best choice is actually northwest and southeast. And I've created a quick table for you. In period 8, northeast and southwest, because of the number 8, northeast and southwest was the first choice. So if you came to me in 2000, early 2000s or like late 1990s, I would say, hey, buy the next period. And the next period, northeast and southwest is really good. But now we are coming to the end of this luck cycle already, which means that the energy is changing. So we want to buy into the next luck cycle, which is the north and south luck cycle. And if you see there is a sequence, whatever is second choice in the last luck cycle will become the first choice in the current luck cycle or the future luck cycle. So in period 8, north and south was second choice. Now in period 9 is becoming first choice. Southeast and northwest was third choice, and then is moving to second choice now. East and west was fourth choice because we just went through that luck cycle. Once you go through a luck cycle, it takes a whole cycle to come back to being good again. So it has to go through the whole cyclical energy before it can come back to being a good energy again. So from fourth, it becomes third. Guess what happens to northeast and southwest? It then becomes the last choice. Do you want to buy a unit that is northeast and southwest facing in Singapore? Probably not. If you like to stay in Hougang, you like to stay in Punggol, you can still continue to stay there. Just don't expect a lot of new commercial activity to happen in the estate. If you're looking for, a more stable estate and stuff like that, you can buy Northeast and Southwest. The prices will stay kind of even. I wouldn't say stagnant, but it would just progress as the nation progresses. If you want to look for a fast-moving area, north and south of Singapore, or at least north-facing and south-facing houses are the best choice in period 9. How do you look at orientation though? So it depends on the apartment type, right? So landed property is really straightforward. If you come in through the main gate and your main gate is facing your main door, usually we'll use the main gate direction, where when you stand inside the house, you take a compass, you point outside. Whatever is shown on your compass is the direction that is the direction of your house. But for apartment types, there are actually 2 types. The first type is if your main door is, you come in through a main door and you see a window right at the end. You don't have windows on either side. This is when the energy kind of moves from top to bottom, bottom to top. This kind of unit, feng shui masters usually have a bit more flexibility. I can pick the main door or the main window, but without me doing anything, the main energy is actually coming from your main door because we come in through your main door. Right. So for this kind of apartment, we use the main door as the main direction. How do you determine what the direction is? You stand by the door, you take your compass out, you stand inside and point outside. Whatever is shown on your compass is the direction of your apartment. To double check, you can also stand the center point of the house and point upwards. Make sure you don't point towards the door over here. Make sure you're standing here and pointing upwards and not towards the door. If you're pointing upwards, it should give you the same exact reading. For apartment 2, this is where we have lesser flexibility. When you come in through the main door, and if you have window or balcony on either side, and you have no window right at the end, this is what we call a L-shaped energy house. You come in through a main door, your main energy is coming in from a balcony. This is when you want to stand near the balcony, have your compass pointing outside. Whatever is shown on your compass is a good direction. If you are looking for a unit, and that unit shows north and south, generally this is good feng shui, at least for period 9. That means your future is kind of guaranteed, right? If it's not north and south, at least look for northwest, southeast, or east and west. Don't look for a northeast and southwest unit. So I hope everybody is clear on how to look for direction. If you are, please type in the chat box clear. If you don't, also type in the chat box, say, I don't know what Mark is talking about, then my colleague will go and address your concern and help you out a little bit. Okay, I think, wow, very smart. Today's crowd, all very clear, very good. It's not always like that, no. Today's crowd, very good. Today got Xuan Ji. What if there's no balcony? We use a big window. If you miss the first part, I cannot help you. Suchi, I can get my colleague to help answer if you have any questions. So you can PM my colleague. I think they have Wei Feng Shui in parentheses in the back. Oh, Suchi, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so I think today's crowd all they catch on very quickly. So we move on to the next thing. What is 八字 suitability? Like I say, having a good orientation is akin to picking good food, picking ginseng instead of fried chicken, right? Picking ginseng is always the right choice, but sometimes ginseng not very suitable for you. Say, for example, you're already a very energetic person, you're full of vitality, eat ginseng, then you will be super energetic to the point that you cannot calm down, you cannot think very clearly. Then that is not very good already. So good feng shui house is important, but whether it's suitable for you is also very important. And this is when we need to measure the quality of the energy that is coming to your house. Some quality is suitable for you, some quality is not so suitable for you. Before that, for those people who hasn't downloaded your 八字 chart, please, I think my colleague will put a link over there for you to create your 八字 chart. After you have created your 八字 chart, right, this is what you should see. You should tell you what your favorable energy is. If your favorable energy happens to be water and fire, it would also tell you that your direction that is suitable for you is north and south. If this happens to be your 八字, congratulations. So you can buy the north and south houses. Generally, they have good feng shui and they are also suitable for you. Usually, we have more than one person in the family. It's not just one person, right? So you would have to create a few parts of chart. The most important people in the house are the people who are making money. The kids not so important. Kids, we can always go in and adjust their bedroom to make sure the energy is good for them. The parents bringing home the bacon, people who are bringing home the bacon is usually my key consideration, right? At least the people who own the house has to have some sort of suitability to the house, because this is the period of time where we need feng shui the most. When you're retired, do you still need feng shui? Yes, but for general well-being. But if you're really chonging for your career, this is when feng shui can really give you the extra push. So those people who are thinking, hey, I want to buy a house, but I have kids, I have parents and stuff like that, don't consider so many people. Just consider yourself and your spouse. That's good enough. If you are moving to a house alone, then congratulations. Very easy to find house. Just find something that is suitable for you. Usually with that, it will also tell you what is your unfavorable element. So the directions to avoid for this part specifically are houses facing northeast and southwest, which, by the way, are not very good direction for period 9 anyway. So this guy struck the jackpot. I hope there are people with this kind of parts. Anyone with this kind of parts that is favorable water and fire, favorable water and fire, unfavorable earth. If there is, maybe give me a heads up. Type something. Me, very good. Congratulations, struck the jackpot. So there are people who ask me, is this based on your English birthday? Is it based on a lunar birthday? Is it based on the Chinese solar calendar birthday? All these are not important. Just put in your normal English birthday. We already have a computer system that is auto-calculating and converting for you already, so you don't have to worry about all that. Just put it in, put your birthday in. If you know your timing, even better. Good, we got quite a lot of, same for me, just one more unfavorable metal. Yeah, so metal is not that important, and metal is west facing anyways. Okay, so this is when we need to know what direction is good for us. If your favorable element is water, north is usually the best direction for you. Out of the 8 directions, there's only one water. So those people who with metal and water, or water and fire, usually water, you want to find water, you need to use the energy from the north, which is buying a north-facing unit. South-facing unit is a fire unit, right? So if your favorable energy is fire, then you buy a south-facing unit. If you have this situation where the husband and wife, they need the same thing, they need wood and fire, and they both don't like earth, then avoid buying northeast and southwest, and their choices are the wood directions, right, which is east, southeast, then and south, right? So don't buy northeast and southwest. They're telling me I'm running a bit behind already, so I'll speed up a little bit, okay? Okay, got a bit excited. So I hope everybody got this concept. If you want to screenshot something, this is a good picture to screenshot, because this doesn't change. Forever, north is water, south is fire. East and southeast are wood, northwest and west are metal. Northeast and southwest are always earth. And most people in your chart would have at least water or fire as your main favorable element. Generally, you will have at least one of the two, which means that in period 9, you choose either a north-facing house or a south-facing house. Don't consider the rest already. Okay, now we want to talk about shape. Just now, I talk about how triangle houses are not very good, square houses or stable-looking houses are very good. Why? Because each of the sector in a house means something as well. Say, for example, go back to the example just now, right? This person, or this couple, they need fire energy and wood energy. So having a house with a good fire sector, that means the south sector that is full, which in this case it is, and having their wood sector kind of being full is quite important. The missing sector for this house are in the northeast. This is the northeast energy, which is earth energy, which is your unfavorable energy, and the southwest. So the two missing corners are in the northeast and southwest. These are houses. This house is considered quite stable, quite a good shape already, but you have a bit of a missing corner in the northeast and a bit of a missing corner in the southwest. Most of the time, feng shui masters can try to fix if the shape is not very off. Like this one is quite easy to fix. But if you have a house that is lopsided or like a triangle looking house, usually it's harder for us to fix those. So for this house, is it suitable or not? It's suitable for the couple just now. Is it good? It's good because you don't really need earth energy. You don't really need earth energy in the northeast and southwest. And your good energy, which is the fire and the wood energy, are all full and whole, which is a good scenario. Of course, if you can buy a complete square house, is the best. But it also means different aspects. These different aspects, there is a very complicated way of measuring what is more important during a period, what is less important during a period. During period 8, prosperity and harmony and empathy is quite important, which means that the northeast and southeast sector are quite important. In period 9, these two sectors are not so important anymore. But if you are looking to buy a house that gives you more harmony, or gives you more understanding, or if you're a family that is constantly fighting, cannot stop fighting. Some people are they're couples who just love to argue, right? Then don't buy a house with the southwest missing sector. Or if you buy a house that looks like that, at least hire a feng shui master to try to bring up the energy in the southwest sector. Each of the sector means different things. The north means intelligent. Water is usually a sign of intelligence in a person's party chart. If your chart has a lot of water, that means you're very smart, very good thinker. If your chart has a lot of fire, which is in the south, right, that means you're a good communicator. If your party has a lot of wood energy, that means this person is usually quite motivated and quite good at studying. Right? So the east, wood energy is for motivation, academics, and health. And if you have a lot of metal, metal is the hardest of the 5 elements. It usually makes a person very decisive, makes a person very creative. So the creative metal energy is coming from the northwest and west. So for this household, if you are a designer or if you are a boss, you definitely need some kind of leadership and creativity. Northwest and west is very, very important. When you have a missing sector, check out that missing sector and see if it's actually important for your individual family. So this is why shape is so important. And lastly is luck cycle. Luck cycle is easier to overcome. But if you are moving into a house that is this concept, it's called 天地人. What is 天地人? Tian is the stars, right? All the stars and the energy that we cannot see, it's up in the heaven. Earth is our house. Basically, what we want to connect is the timing, which is the star, with our house, with the people inside the house. So date selection actually is the thing that pulls everything together. You might be you might be buying a good unit. You might be having a unit that is very suitable for you. You might have a good shape. But if you don't choose a good date, you are not connecting all the energy together, which means that sometimes your luck can come in a bit uneven. Sometimes you have very good luck, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're very sway, sometimes you feel quite lucky. It's not smooth. So date selection is quite important. For your reference, in 2022, North and South, even though they are very good direction, is not so suitable for you to move in and for you to renovate. But you can overcome that by choosing a good date, which is why we created an app called the Way Feng Shui app. If you don't have this app, please go and download. It's free of charge. It helps you select good dates for different activities. So if you are thinking, I want to renovate and I'm born the year of the pig, my wife is born the year of the snake, you put all this information inside, it will filter all the dates for you. It's very, very convenient. So at least if you want to do any major things in your life, right, go and choose a date. Or especially if it's to do things to do with feng shui, renovation, hacking, and stuff like that. Okay, so just now, as a summary, right, the most important factor is always direction. This is the ginseng, right? If you have ginseng, you are at least taking some good food. Don't take fried chicken. The second thing is suitability. Suitability is quite important. Good feng shui, good ginseng might not be suitable for you. You need to see your own bodily energy. Then missing sector, because the calculation is very varied, which is why we give it a bigger percentage. But each of the missing sectors, some can be overcome, some are hard. It's better to talk to a feng shui master. If you see a house that is obviously very odd shaped, try to avoid those. At least, then, if not, then you have to get a really, really good interior designer to make it look like it's a wholesome house. And then luck cycle, choose a date when you're buying a new house, especially when you start renovation or if you want to move into a used house or a pre-owned house. Okay, so this is when we go into the developments that we want to talk about today. The first development we talk about is Dakota Crest. Anyone looking for Dakota Crest area? Dakota Crest, King George, they're all around the same area, right? Or there are people who are looking for Dakota Crest and King George. Okay, so Dakota Crest, the interesting thing about Dakota Crest is that it's sitting in this formation called Ru Yi Dao Di. Ru Yi Dao Di, that means, Ru Yi is the scepter that the officials bring to court, right? So Ru Yi Dao Di means that generally people who stay around there are very suitable for doing government-related work or work in big organization or have a lot of responsibility. Not everybody can go into the court, the empress court, to address the concern. So generally, people who are in civil service generally want to stay in this area because the energy is very good for stability, is very good for multitasking, is very good for management. So the Dakota Crest, it lies on the Eastern Dragon, and Eastern Dragon is a up and coming dragon. Eastern Dragon is just now we talked about the East and West energy, right? In 2 luck cycles, it will be coming up again. It used to be a really hot area, and then it went through a dip, and then it's coming up again. So at least you're on that upward trajectory. How about King George? King George is also quite near to the area, but King George is actually at a formation called the 5 snake battling a crocodile. I know it sounds like a mouthful, but 5 snakes basically means the 5 rivers. This is the meeting point of the 5 rivers. So for people who are looking to King George Estate, when you have aggressive sounding formation, generally it means that it generates a lot of commercial activity. Orchard Road is called the formation of the 7 fallen star. It doesn't sound very good, but it's a lot of vibrancy and there's a lot of fighting. So which means that it's good for commercial activity. If you're single, or if you have a small family, or if you're thinking, I still want to be part of the city life, I still want to live in a vibrant area, then King George Heights is a very good choice. It sits on the South Dragon, which is the most active dragon in the coming period, in period 9 anyway. So capital appreciation wise, this one is quite a good project. The next one is Park Flora. Where is Park Flora? Let me see. Park Flora is at Tengah. Park Flora and Plantation Creek. They are Park Flora is here. Plantation Creek is here. They belong to the same formation called the Land of the Flower Basket. Land of the Flower Basket, basically in Chinese, is called 童男童女歌. 童男童女歌 means good-looking people. So people who are good-looking, or if you want to be better-looking, can stay in this Tengah estate. Why? Because it's a 童男童女歌. If you're single, if you're looking, you're thinking, hey, I want to move to somewhere where it's easier for me to find my future husband or future wife, then Plantation Creek and Park Flora are good choices. Generally, 童男童女歌 is good for people who are doing media-related work or is an influencer or generally need to be presentable or have good communication skills. Staying in this area is quite good. The last 2 estates are in Yishun area, and the Yishun formation, it's called the formation of the fallen peach blossom. Fallen doesn't mean bad. That means fall on your ground. That means you have a lot of peach blossom. Peach blossom is seen as a very relaxed kind of formation. Yishun is a good place for you to kind of have a more relaxed lifestyle. For those people who are doing business, they always like to stay in Woodlands, Yishun and stuff like that, right? Because you want to get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. If you want to go back to a house where you can completely relax, go back, don't have to think about work. If your work is very stressful, go stay in Yishun. Yishun is a good estate. I know there's a lot of people, Yishun has received a lot of flake, but I think Yishun is a good area, at least from a tranquility, relaxation point of view. Yishun has a really, really good formation. So I'm going to do 2 case studies. So we kind of tie in everything that we have learned today and see what are the good suitable units for you. Say for example, the first couple, they have favorable element as metal and water. And just now I said metal is west, actually northwest as well. I think that this one needs to be updated. So west, northwest are both metal. North is water. So this couple should be looking for units, regardless of development. It can be if you are in the PR kind of business, you can stay in the Tengah area. If you are civil serving, you can stay in the Kota. If you want a commercial activity, you can stay in the King George area, depending on your own preference on where you like to stay. At least for the orientation, find something that is good and suitable for you. So between north and west, which one is better? Obviously, north is better because in this current period, north and south are the best. So for the sake of discussion, let's talk about north and south facing unit. This couple, very easy. Look for north facing unit, right? Look for north facing unit. In Dakota Crest, where are all the north facing unit? We have done the homework for you already, right? These are all the north facing unit. Where are these units? Let me see, where's the Dakota Crest one? Gun can help me. Okay, Dakota Crest, I don't know if you can see my camera. I cannot see myself. You can see Dakota Crest, the southern side of the development, those in green color, which is 116 lah, 118 lah, 120. This area is quite good. Why? Because there are two potential Sachi that is coming from here. One is the road junction that is over here. You're far away from the road junction, so you're fine. And there's this Lian Dao Sa over here, and you're quite far away from the Lian Dao Sa, so you're fine. So if you're looking for Dakota, the north-facing unit, these are the north-facing unit. These are good units for you to use. And then let's look at the next development, which is on this already highlighted already. So if you highlight 116, 118, and 120 are north-facing unit. This kind of unit is quite straightforward. You come in from the main door, you see a window at the back, use the main door as the main orientation. If you are suitable for south and you want to buy this unit, make sure you find a feng shui master, a good one, that can help you adjust the direction as well. I see some questions coming in. Blah, 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 blah. Will Rocho be shared? Later, you can ask me about Rocho lah. Now, I won't share because it's not part of the February BTO, but you can ask me later. We will have a Q&A later. Okay, let's talk about King George. Where is King George? Okay, King George is over here. So King George, where are the north-facing units? The north-facing units are the one listed in green, which are over here. Okay, can I see myself again? Which is over here. So here, you are sitting on a quite even piece of land, even though this land is not developed yet. There is no real concern when it comes to external Sachi. But I would say this area is quite peaceful because you're away from the entrance. You kind of sit in the back. Between this row and this row, I will buy this row. This row is what? This is 306, 304, 302, and 300. These are the 4 units that I would choose first. If bopian, then you can try 320 and 316. The units inside, are again main door facing window at the back, which means that I have some flexibility. If you are if you need south energy, and if you come to me with this kind of unit, I can usually adjust the main energy to come in from the window instead. Okay, let's talk about the next development, which is King George 4-bedroom. Just show you how they are all the same layout. Okay, Park Flora. Park Flora is in Tengah. Or if you're a good-looking person, if you're trying to be good-looking like me, then you can try to look at this unit. If you're working in media and PR, where are the north-facing unit? The one highlighted in green, 582, 580. So 582, 580. Generally, it's somewhere around over here. These 2 units are north-facing units. These few units are north-facing units as well. Or if you buy the opposite side, I would try to buy the one inside, away from the road. Or usually I want to stay as inside as possible. But if you like the view, you can also try this unit. We can adjust the direction of the energy coming in. Let's look at the unit type. The unit type again is main door facing main window, so we have some flexibility. Also, if you're interested in this kind of layout, if you are interested in the Tengah area, these are good units, especially if your auspicious energy is north. Okay, then Plantation Creek. Can I have Plantation Creek? So Plantation Creek, again, the north-facing units are the ones over here. So the ones over here are block, this is block 347 and 345. So 347 and 345 are 347, 345 are where? Cannot see, my eyesight not good already. 347, 345 are nearer to this side of the road. Or I think it's 347, 345. So these are the north-facing units. These are north-facing units also. These are north-facing units. So don't worry. I may not be able to show you everything very clearly, but if you come and ask us, hey, I'm looking at this development, I'm looking for a north-facing unit, my colleague will be able to help you out. So for north-facing units are this few. Is there any concerns here? I don't think so. I think it's okay. The general environment and the energy there is okay. So the next development we want to look at, this is a unit, again, is door facing window. So we will use the main door as the main orientation. And again, I also have some flexibility. But this house, watch out, because the stove is south facing. Usually stove is fire. If it's facing south, which is more fire, I may have to ask you to adjust your stove. So Yishun is Yishun Broadwalk. The north-facing units are we already listed here. So you can screenshot this or you can call our colleague. They will be able to help you select. The north-facing units are all the way at the bottom. See, all the way at the bottom. Only the bottom few are north-south facing units. The rest of them, a lot of them are facing north, east, south-west. So try, if you want to buy around this area. The north and south units are all situated around there. I see a lot of people raising hands. I will address your question at the end of the presentation. Remember your question and ask me later. Okay, then this kind of unit, again, main door facing main balcony, facing the balcony or facing the window. So we use the main door as the main orientation. If you stand inside, you point your compass outside, it should tell you that you're facing north. But this kind of units, we have flexibility. Broadwalk, same thing. And then the last one is Grove Spring. So where is Grove Spring? So Grove Spring we already covered already. Just now I was, Broadwalk. Sorry, just now I showed you all the wrong picture. Broadwalk, the north-facing units are over here. The north-facing units are over here. This one is Grove Spring, the north-facing units are right at the bottom or over here. Okay, let's talk about the second case study. Again, I think the layout today, we are talking about the same layout. It's basically main door facing main balcony. So there's some flexibility. If you buy this kind of units, it cannot go wrong because usually if you hire a feng shui master, they can adjust the direction for you. Okay, so we have a second case study. If you need south, right? Sometimes you will have a firewood combination, which means that east, southeast, and south are good for you. Sometimes you have a water fire combination, that means north and south are good for you. But if you have south as well, the direction that is suitable for you, then we will go back to all the units again, and we will see where are all the south-facing units. Okay, so for the Dakota crest, again, can you help me find the Dakota crest? Dakota crest. Again, the south-facing units are the one highlighted in orange. So these are south-facing units. If you look at the map, is somewhere around here. Or these few units are south-facing units. This one is a bit northwest already. If you are looking for northwest, southeast units, then these are the few units you can look at. I will try to avoid staying around here because it's very near to this main junction. I will also try to avoid staying in these few units because you're very near to the curve over here, which in feng shui we call Lian Dao Sa, which is not very good. So this one is just a repetitive thing. So King George, let's take a look at King George again. King George is a small development. King George, the north and south facing unit are all around here. The south facing units are the one highlighted in orange. So highlighted in orange is these two units, 314 and 312. And then these two are also south-facing unit, 310 and 308. 308, yes. Okay, the next development is King George. Again, I think the room type are all the same, so I won't show the room type anymore. So Park Flora at Tengah, this is the land of the flower basket. Tengah, if you're looking at the Tengah area, where are the south-facing units? The south-facing units are generally the ones over here, which is, if you see your screen, are the ones over here, and also the ones over here, which I think is slightly better because it's more inwards. So the south using south-facing sector, south-facing ones are over these two blocks. These two blocks are the bigger units. Also, if you're looking for bigger units, these two are good choices. The rest of them, there's a lot of north-south facing unit around here. The choices are generally around here and around here. Between here and here, I wouldn't think there's a big difference, but here there's a lot of uncertainty, right? Because it's undeveloped land. So if you are getting a nice view now, maybe a few years down the road, you might be seeing HDB blocks. So they're not very nice. So I will buy around here. And then the next development would be Tengah. Again, Tengah, where's the Tengah? Park Flora. At Park Flora. So there's only one south-facing unit only. So one south-facing block only. The south-facing block is this 507, which is south-facing. Park Flora at Tengah. South-facing is 548, which is over here. These two blocks are both south-facing. So these two blocks are south-facing. And then the other south-facing ones are further down the development. If I can show you the big map. These two are south-facing. This is not Tengah already. This is Tengah, the south-facing. These two are south-facing. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place because the development, there's quite a lot of development. Okay, Plantation Creek, where are the south-facing units? Plantation Creek is over here. The south-facing units are the ones over here, the ones over here, and the ones over here. So these are south-facing unit. If you need south-facing unit, between these three, I will buy these two blocks. I think these two blocks are better because here is very near to a road junction. I always try to avoid road junctions if I can. Over here is okay. Over here is actually very good because this kind of curved in junction are actually better. This kind of curved in junction brings in energy, at least there's active energy, and it allows some energy to enter your place and let it rest in your development before it goes out. Boardwalk. I keep calling it Broadwalk. It's actually Boardwalk. Okay, so Boardwalk, the south-facing units are over here and over here, right? So is this row over here, and this row over here. But all the units we talk about today, you can kind of adjust the direction. So north-south facing unit, it doesn't matter. Oh, okay, I think I'm going to stop myself here already. I'm just repeating myself already. I'm just going to show you the north-south facing units. So the stack numbers over here, if you need this information, feel free to reach out to some of my colleagues. So these are the stack numbers. Look within this development for this stack number for better north-south unit facing unit. North-south facing unit are all concentrated over here for Boardwalk. Or the rest of them are, a lot of them are northwest, southeast facing unit. North-south facing are all over here. And then that's it. So I hope you all have a good idea. So basically, there are 4 criteria. Let me quickly summarize. There are 4 criteria, right? Looking for the best direction is important. Northeast, southwest units, try to avoid. The first choice is north and south facing unit. North and south facing units are, you want to look at a parcel chart and see whether you are more suitable for north and south. Second choice is northwest and southeast. Northwest is more metal. If you have metal, as your favorable element, you can buy northwest or west facing unit. Those are second and third choices. If you have wood as an auspicious element, that means southeast and east are good units for you. So you can have southeast as a second choice, east as your third choice. If you don't know how to look at direction, a quick guideline is if you come in through a main door, if you see a window right at the back, use the main door. But usually this kind of units, there's some flexibility. You can either use the window right at the back or the main door. If you come in and the unit is L-shaped, that means you come in through a main door, you have a big window on either side. We will use the either side's window or balcony as the main orientation. Stand inside, point outside the balcony or the window. whatever it says on your compass, that is the orientation. Oh. So we have package lah. Basically, if you are lazy to do all these things, we will help you consider them. As I say, selecting the right unit is half the battle won already. When you select a good unit and it's suitable for you, the feng shui becomes very easy. It's all about maximizing the good things in the house to bring good energy into a household. When you select a unit that is not very good and not very suitable, I need to fix a lot of things. When I need to fix a lot of things, this is when the interior designer starts to hate me because I have a lot of weird suggestions here and there. You need more plants here, you need more metal ornaments over there. It usually complicates matters. So to me, a good way is to make sure that you select the right unit that is suitable for you before you engage a feng shui master or an ID. Also later, I will have a little conversation with Kenneth. I hope this helps to clear it up. If you're interested in selecting a house, these are some of the plans. Feel free to reach out to my colleagues. We are running a promotion. Last time we used to sell this report for $188 per report to help you select your unit. Now we are reducing it to only $88. If you buy more, you save more. Or usually we don't just look at one unit, we look at a few units. This is applicable for both new launch and also buying resale. Okay, thank you very much. Can I hand over to the mic to Ferlin, please?
Yes, thank you, Master Mark, for the sharing. Okay, so line up for you, right? Like I mentioned earlier at the start of our session, today we have two speakers. We have invited Kenneth, the founder of renovation.sg, to join us and share with us some of the concern as well. So let me pass over the mic to Kenneth, please.
Hi everyone, loud and clear. Okay, good. Thanks, Ferlin. Thanks, Master Mark. I'm Kenneth from renovation.sg. So basically, I'll do a 10 to 15 minutes quick sharing on what to look out for interior design companies and all contractors if you wish to find. So I just do a screen sharing. All right, so okay, so basically renovation.sg, we are actually a renovation and interior design portal that we have a lot of articles, interesting articles to help homeowners, be it they want to DIY for their own house for renovation or they want to engage an interior design company. And of course, we also have product and services as well. I'll go through the details in a bit. Feel free to do a quick screenshot because there are URL links in it. And then I'll just run through pretty fast. If it's a little bit too fast, just let me know, or can Ferlin let me know. Yeah. So this is the disclaimer. Basically, this presentation is prepared for information purposes only and shall not be copied or replied by other persons. So the rest are etc. Okay, so a quick introduction. We started in 2012. All right, back in 2012, basically because I couldn't find interior design renovation reliable portal myself when I was doing my house. So me and my partner, we created this portal, and we have assisted almost 24,000 homeowners in finding the right interior design companies to work with. So just a clarification, it's actually a portal where we work with interior design companies, we partner with them. We bring in interior design companies that we trust ourselves as well. In a way, personally, I go and visit to the showroom or office to look at our culture, to look at the business itself, even to have them on board. So it's not like we do a barter trade or they pay money and then we will just have them on board. No, not really. Okay, so at the bottom is actually a featuring of myself. Honored to be in Channel News Asia in the morning talk show in our third year. Basically, we did. So as I mentioned, we have a lot of articles, etc. And then we actually have a child-proofing your home article, which we shared on in the Channel News Asia morning talk show. So we are very article-centric portal. Okay, so a very quick share so just now, Master Mark, thankfully he shared a lot of selection of the units or even the particular project for your individual parts of feng shui. So for us, okay, we are the pioneers to start this BTO tips and guides in a general context, not in the feng shui context, to select the facings in terms of noise level, or even in terms of the floor plans. So, okay, so this is actually my website. I'm on the browser right now. You can go to my website in a little while and go to the articles and click on the keyword to search tab. Okay, and then we actually have hopefully you all can see my cursor. So here we actually do have the projects. Okay, the four Fab projects in 4 different articles. Okay, we have the others as well, Fab 2021, etc., etc. I just jump straight into one of them. So this is King George Heights at Kallang Whampoa. So we touched a bit on the details, like probably you have forgotten to get it from HDB themselves. These are more information. We took some photos of the location and vicinity. So for example, we talk about which 3-bedroom unit should I choose for King George Heights. So disclaimer once again, this is just for general direction. It's not for the fengshui one that I must have shared. So in terms of the traffic noise, etc., of course, you can go to the on-site and have a look at yourself. And the 4 bedrooms, okay, I'll just run through very quickly. And this is actually the master plan of 2019, where we need to see whether this particular block itself, would there be future 5 years to 10 years, future plans of having a high rise right in front of the window? You don't want that to happen. So we will look into master plans of 2019 as well. And also the layout suggestions. So very quickly, the layout suggestions is to see, like particularly, let's say for this living room itself, what is possible to do within this space. Okay, these are just some suggestions. And as you see, Ascend Design, this is one of the projects they've done before. We just plug and play for you to have a quick access. So this is just one of the BTO project. There are more, which I won't go through in detail because I only got 15 minutes very quickly. All right, next is how to read your floor plans over here. Okay, how to read your floor plans, basically it's very simple. I think by now, a lot of you should already know what does individual wall means, hackable or not, etc. Which interestingly, we can have the Q&A in a while later with Master Mark, where certain people, like for example, this project, they actually hacked a bedroom wall to do a glass panel. Is it good or bad? This kind of stuff we can have a discussion in a while later on. So the normal wall lines is you can hack, structural walls you can hack, etc. Okay, I won't go into the details once again. The links are there for you to click on later. All right, I'll move on next very quickly. Okay, I think this is more important. All right, so the interior design industry and the contractor industry, it has been pretty it's an industry that's a bit skeptical. Who do you want to approach, and can I trust them, etc. So these are my personal advice. I'm one who actually did my own renovation as well. So these are homeowners to homeowners advice. So the first one, how long in advance should you find an interior designer or a contractor? Ideally, it's 6 months before key collection. All right. And to meet about 5 different companies. Not too many. Personally, I find. Okay, why 6 months? 6 months is because so that when you meet them, the prices are relatively going to be thereabouts at the moment you meet the ID, the prices of their services, the prices of the materials that you choose, and also you can actually allocate or to book the designer that you work with. If it's beyond 6 months, maybe 7 months, okay, not bad. If it's 1 year and beyond, more than 1 year, okay, which I'll go in a bit later on, I think it's a bit too far because you also don't want to put your deposit there for 1 year and then, I don't know anything will happen to the company or not. All right. So 5 companies, of course, yes, you have to repeat every single one of the designers that you meet. 5 companies, I think is a comfortable amount to repeat the whole thing again. And to get together 5 different companies, ideas, get their ideas, and then to see which service or which designer you're more comfortable to work with. Okay, second question, how long in advance should your home apply? Should you find your home appliances, furniture, etc.? Between 7 to 5 months is my advice before key collection. Okay, budget wisely in priority of fixtures first, fittings can be later. What does this mean? That means you want to do your kitchen microwave. No, sorry, not microwave. Kitchen built-in oven. Nowadays, there's this steam oven as well, Bosch, for example. Budget for these items, budget for those carpentry built-in items, the beds, the mattresses, the sofas, and the kitchen table. Those can be later on. I mean, in terms of budget constraint, if you want to prioritize wise, because you have to time for the next pointer, which is delivery. Delivery may be at this present moment due to the COVID situation, maybe a little bit uncertain and hectic. Personally, for myself, I had to wait for a curtain that comes from Belgium for 2 months. So it's a bit delayed. So will the ID help you with this? I would say some yes, some no, but most likely nowadays homeowners, they want to select their own furniture. They might not go with what is recommended by the ID. So if you were to do so by selecting your own furniture, have a short list. Fixtures go first. All right. So next thing is, the last point is ample time post-renovation for health. What this means is, especially if you have pets, dogs, cats, you have children, or even yourself, after renovation, try to air the unit, as in open the windows, air the unit for about, say, a month or so. As after post-renovation, there are some toxic fumes, some unhealthy, based on research, scientifically research, there are some unhealthy fumes that's not good for your health. So try not to rush into your moving in. Okay, and of course, moving in time, date, etc. You can ask Master Mark. Okay, can I meet interior designers 1 to 2 years before key collection? Yes, you can, but expect your designs and prices will change during this period. Even if you meet the company or the same industry, designer might change the company within that 1 year, 2 years. Also, better not to waste your time. I think 6 months is a very good sufficient time. Okay, but most of the people, they want to meet designers. Why? Because they want to do budgeting for your home. So I'm here to give a very quick assessment of what budget you should save up prior to key collection. So this is particularly for BTO, simple renovation and basic design. 3-bedroom, approximately 25,000. 4-bedroom, 35. 5-bedroom, 45. Flooring, doors, and bathroom fittings already opt-in from HDB. Based on my research and what homeowners have told us, some of the HDB, it depends on individual projects where if the contractor has done a good job. Of course, there is what we call the defects period of defects highlighting period of 1 year after getting a key fraction, which they can amend the HDB floor tiles, etc. So the budget that I've mentioned earlier is already opt-in by the HDB. That means you have paid a subsidized rate for the flooring, the doors, the bathroom, sanitary wares, etc. All right. Kitchen cabinets not included. Okay. So this is a comfortable amount. Of course, there are people spending way more. You want a designer style, you want better materials, you want marble, you want a lot of built-ins. What costs the most in a renovation package? What costs the most would be the carpentry and the hacking of walls and tiles. Okay, carpentry basically is the kitchen cabinets, the built-in wardrobes. Yeah, those more of kugong, man-made
Recording
work. Basically,
stopped.
they have more.
Recording in progress.
They have more budget. Sorry, there was some sound from the Zoom earlier. Okay, so this is personally my quotation I got from my ID back then. You should have a quotation where if you can see over here with my pointer, okay, see, try to have these details, tile size, what size they are, the per piece tile, how much it is, and the origin of the tile. All this should be included in even the laying method for the tile. The standard straight set, there is staggering laying of tiles as well. So these are important to be included in your quotation so that if there's any discrepancy, any argument, any, whatever, hopefully not, this is actually a black and white for you to adhere to. Okay, so this is just a common bathroom, what I've done. Wall niche, this is an interesting one which you can do for your bathroom. I think nowadays it's very common. Basically, it's an in-depth in your wall bathroom where you can put your shower cream, your shampoo, etc. All right. And this is my ID's payment terms. So I confirm already after I've seen this. This is like I think close to 18 pages of contract. Pay the 10% deposit, then the rest will be staggered payment. This varies for per ID. 10% I think is quite a comfortable amount. There are some giving like 5% or so for the first number one deposit. I try not to go with something like 20% deposit. No, I don't think that's feasible. Do check the companies as well, the ID company, whether it's properly run and legit in that sense. Okay, so 5% final payment. After the final payment, right? For my company, I do have a year's what we call the guarantee warranty period. For any amendments that I require, I can just call them and then they'll come and amend. Some companies, they have lifetime warranty. Yeah. Okay, so just look in the terms and conditions before you even sign. All right. Okay, I hope I'm still in time. Okay, so this is also, okay, when you have done the 10% deposit with the contract, right? They will normally give you a more detailed 3D drawing. For mine, I felt this is much better. This is actually what we call a architectural drawing. For this instance, right, it's good. Why? Okay, I can see the cross section over here. This is a common bath. Once again, I can see the aerial view at the top. So the cross section, I do have the brand and the type of tiles. I have the size, Safari, blah blah blah, and the measurements important because you need to select a sink. You need to know, what you're going to put in the vanity cabinets. You need to pre-plan, laminate finishing, etc. from EDL. So these are scissor stone, quartz top. These are details which not many IDs they will provide. Is it a must-do? No, but it's good to have. If you can find an ID, maybe even before you sign with them, ask them, do you have all these things? Can I have the confirmation? I think you can just WhatsApp black and white. Don't verbal, black and white WhatsApp them. Can I have all these details, etc. Okay, but try not to use mine as a benchmark example. It's just one of the ID. If you want to know which ID, you can share offline. Okay, all right. So this is also a common question. Okay, do you need to find IDs that have HDB license? Now the thing is, it's common that ID companies do not have their own contractors. As in, ID interior design company, they don't have their own subcon, so they sub out the job to the contractors that they do have. So they work with different subcon, the different tilers, the different hackers, the different painters, etc. So you can check for both the interior design company and the subcons whether they have the license. So let's say for mine, right, I work with them. They don't have a HDB license, but they have a subcon that has HDB license. And I've looked through the portfolios of their project. I looked through a bit on the reviews, etc. And the ID that I engage does not know that I'm from Renovation. So I have no strings attached, no nothing. They thought I'm just a normal homeowner. So I feel that it's more comfortable for me because I if anything goes wrong, I can complain. I pay money, I complain. All right. So HDB contractor license criteria. If you look into, okay, I just very quickly, the license contractor. Okay, so this is this HDB website. You can basically find, if you look at the third pointer, you have at least 3 years of experience in renovation works and are actively involved in renovation trade. So when this comes up, right, you think, so if I set up, if the companies just set up, they don't do, then how would they have the experience? Well, they actually do condo, landed. So that's also renovation works. Then from there, right, 3 years of condo or landed experience, then okay, they get a HDB license. That's possible. So maybe the portfolio that you're seeing for the ID is it's a lot of condo projects. That's fine. So does it mean that going back to the pointer, they don't have HDB license, you cannot engage them? Not really. You must ensure that their subcon have the HDB license. Okay, the point. Sometimes having HDB license doesn't guarantee anything. This is also pretty true. So based on some okay, that's just some articles. This is back in, where's the date? Oh yeah, 2017. So this flat owner is in limbo after renovation deal goes awry. She found a contractor in interior design website. Okay, these are our competitor. So basically, find this. To be honest, the company, I've never heard of it before. So get some companies that you can find in the website, in the social media, the IG, Instagram, Facebook. Some publicized ID, and then go to the company and have a look. So this is one of the example. The other example is this one. So this is a more recent one. This is a Feb this year. cheating of 110 people of $247,400 in HDB renovation work. So with this amount, this contractor definitely do have what I call HDB license, right? Does it mean that? So it's not the company, it's more of the person that you work with. But this is not the ID company. This is one that does windows. So as you see the third paragraph, CM aluminum windows and door. Now, if you go to the renovation directory contractor HDB website, right, to search this company, you can't find it anymore. So I probably have banned them also. Okay, so additional information for specific. Okay, just this one is to just show you. Sorry. Okay, just see if the website, because my home website a bit cranky. Okay. So, important thing like just to share, this is not many people know. Work that requires a QP, qualified person. The BTOs, they have this yard area, right? Then with the yard, you have the bifold door, and then we have the small little glass panel and the walls. Some would like to extend the kitchen all the way to the yard, and they want to hack the wall. Can they do that? They need to find a QP, someone with a proper qualification, okay, engineer to actually do this work, to demolish this, non-load bearing reinforced concrete. So it's not anyone or any ID can do. Some IDs don't even know these people. They just say no, cannot do. They don't advise or something like that. Sometimes, sadly, homeowners have to do their own research. Okay, so HDB website has a lot of interesting stuff to share. Okay, I didn't time what time I speak, but I tried to run off ASAP. Okay, so these are the more important things to spot on. Okay, I just go through very quickly. What else to look out for when selecting interior designers? So for myself, these are steps I follow. Look at the company culture, pay a visit to the showroom or office, because if you go in, you smell smoke only, people smoke in the company, air conditioned room, then you see people, things are laying down in the office, untidy, that kind of stuff, try to avoid lah. But you see it's a very organized company, there's a designer working there, 3D modeling, they have a lot of portfolio projects, then it's more positive, right? They should have a variety of portfolio projects done by the designer. HDB or condo, ask if their actual units fully renovated, which you can visit. So you can actually ask, hey, you got any recent works done? I want to go and have a look. What to look up for? Go there, see the carpentry, the workmanship. Is it good? Workmanship tells a lot. Not the designer not good, but the designer's carpenter not good. They engage that carpenter, which is not good. Okay, for example, look at the tiling, the joining, the grout, etc. If you can. If not, designer, you want to look at the project that the designer has done, not the designer company has done. So that the designer is the one you engage. So some companies are designer come project managers, meaning to say they will they will oversee your project throughout. From the design portion, they will probably ask the 3D visualizer to do up the 3D. Then they will go with you to the site, to your site, and then they will do the licensing of the subcons. Yeah, so they are dual role personnel. Okay, you can compare the quotation, but if you want to do so, please have a fair comparison by having all sizes, length, brands, model in comparison. So you meet 5 different IDs, right? Compare appropriately because sometimes a bit, different brand, different country, different origin, price varies a lot. Okay, next point, do not believe in this as too good to be true, like the article that I sent you earlier. Okay, as a rule of thumb, good is never cheap, cheap is never good. This is really pretty much true. But of course, if it's home appliances, right, things that can fittings, what you call the smart home system, the most affordable one is Xiaomi, for example. That's cheap, that's affordable. You can try that. Those that you don't have to fix one, right? You can go for chips. Spoil never mind, true. No need to drill, hack, that kind of thing. But ID services, this kind of expensive ones, go for the better ones. Okay, payment terms should be reasonable, I mentioned earlier. Next point, once you have selected who to work with, ask if he or she is going to work throughout the project with you. If also have written proof, because some of the designers that you meet is it's going to be a newbie, a green designer, a new designer in the design industry. Then maybe he or she got a manager. Ask whether the manager oversee, we all work together, go site, who will see, who will do the completion, etc. these details must be worked out for, because my first home I got shocked lah. Then the sign already start work. How come your partner leh? Oh, this project I do myself. But actually I signed this deal because of the designer that I like lah, because I like his service ma. But how come it's the other one? So I was a bit disappointed. All right. Okay, do not expect the project manager PM to be at your site at any point of time, but get him or her to commit the schedule that is possible for all parties. So we consumers, we homeowners want, why the designer not here? I'm here leh. Why the contractor the designer not here to tell the contractor what to do, what not to do. Don't expect so much, because the designer is really not doing your project only. They will do multiple projects. But he or she should be committed to the schedule. Promise you, every week, what day I'll go down, what time roughly I'll go down. Have a group chat with the designer. You, your spouse, and then the designer. Yeah. Then everything can be ironed out. It's like a relationship lah. It's like finding a partner. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Kenneth. Sorry to interrupt. A bit overrun. I need to cut you. Trying to get your attention. Yeah. So
this one, let me just 2 minutes.
Probably, yeah. Can wrap up?
I wrap up, yes. So this one is until my dry saliva come on. Okay, so this 18 renovation regrets. So these are regrets that even myself I put in some tips. Have a look through. Okay. Once again, do the print screen. Okay, and then lastly, of course, when you're ready to submit a quotation, right, you can go to our website, right? So what this is, you go into the website, you go to the inquiry form, and then you key in your details, and then you can actually submit your inquiry to the IDs that we select. Then they will get in touch with you. No obligations. We're not charging anything. It's free. Okay. Then lastly, okay, the rest will be, if you want to follow us, follow me, whichever, just do a print screen. Thank you so much. Hand over to Lynn. Thanks so much. Sorry to run.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for your very overwhelming sharing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the question actually lined up very long and waiting for us to address. So let me ask on their behalf one by one right now. Okay, so the first one, right, will be a question for Master Mark first. It's from Tan Chin Lee. Regarding the BTO site at King George, right, what is your advice or recommendation for those units that's facing Hotel Boss and Muslim cemetery, especially Hotel Boss built with reflective mirror?
Okay, so the relative distance between the site itself and the Hotel Boss, Hotel Boss, this is the picture. Hotel Boss is all the way here, so the units are all over here. It's relatively far. I always tell people, if you feel uncomfortable with your surrounding, if you see something like a cemetery, or if you see a temple and you're uncomfortable with it, buy the higher units. The higher you go, the less, the more distance you have between you and the element of concern. Buy higher units. Usually, whatever is happening around in the surrounding affects you less. So I think that it's a to me, on the map, it doesn't seem very far. But if it's an eyesore, then I would say buy further units, buy higher units. But the most important criteria is still whether the direction is good and suitable for you.
Okay, thanks, Master Mark. Okay, so next question. Just now I found a very interesting question for Kenneth. Okay, so Kenneth, there's this question asking that there's a rise in renovation scam. Can you share what you should look out for, like to prevent being scammed, apart from those points that you have shared just now? Like any other points to add on?
Yeah, there's really a rise in renovation scam. I think, like I mentioned earlier, right, most importantly is the person that you work with. Good companies have black sheep. So the person we work with has to be reliable. The company, of course, has to be a good, long running company as well. You go to Google, you can just search whether this company can be found, any reviews that can be found. But this industry right now, interior design industry, right now there's a new something like a committee being set up by the government. Okay, it's basically a committee where they regulates the interior design, the companies and the designers themselves. So I think that will help in the long run.
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. Okay, so from Dion Lau, she actually asked, asking Master Mark, when will the feng shui unit selection? Oh no, this one actually our staff can reply you. This one let our staff reply you. Okay. So for unit from Link S, for a unit that is south facing entrance and balcony is east facing, is this auspicious direction for 2024? But these are not my favorable directions. East is my sixth killing. Okay.
Slow down a little bit. So the orientation of the house is what?
The unit is facing south. Entrance facing south.
So first of all, the question you need to ask yourself is south a good direction for you?
No, not favorable.
If it's not a favorable direction, that is already one reason to reject that unit, right? And then just now you talk about in 2024.
Yeah.
What's happening in 2024?
She's asking because she's moving. She will move in by 2023. So she's asking, is this an auspicious direction for 2024?
Okay, so it's not so important because we can overcome a bad year with choosing good month, good dates, and good time. So timing matters less. So just now you said something about the kitchen. What's happening with the kitchen?
No, she's saying that her entrance is facing south, the balcony is east facing. So but these directions are not facing. Yeah.
Oh, so if the balcony is facing east and the main entrance is facing south, this is an east facing unit. This is not a south facing unit. But if east is not a favorable unit, what can you do? Technically, for L-shaped units, we cannot really change the direction. But remember, just now we have a 9-grid box and we have different energy, right? In the north, we have water. In the south, we have fire. In the east and southeast, we have wood, and west and northwest, we have metal. What we can do is we can strengthen the energy. I guess you say east and south are not good for you. So west and northwest and north would be good for you. So we will try to make the energy in the west, northwest, and north a bit more active and quieten down the energy in the east, southeast, and east sector in order for you to gain some kind of balance to help you activate some of the good energy that is good for you. There are also color recommendation in the Bazi chart. So a lot of times when we design a house, and of course, when I say design, we don't mean it like the interior designer where we do the layout and we recommend colors and stuff like that. There are two things we look at. We look at the surrounding of the house. We look at the stars that are within the house. Some combinations are good, some combinations are not so good. But in terms of individual space like bedroom, a lot of times you will take bazi into consideration. So if you need water, if you need metal within your bedroom, we will try to activate more of the water and metal energy. Also, in terms of your personal space, we will make sure that you are well taken care of, even though the unit is a direction that is not very suitable for you. But the good thing is, regardless if you are facing east or south, these are both okay directions. At least the ginseng is there already. At least you're not buying fried chicken.
Okay, thank you, Master Mark. Okay, so we have next question. If a BTO is located next to hospital, is it advisable not to choose those? And why is staying next to hospital not advisable?
Hospital and temples are so feng shui is all about balancing the yin and the yang. So if you stay near a hospital, if you stay near a mortuary, if you stay near a temple, a lot of time we will say there's overwhelming yin energy. And this is where we want to work with interior designers like, the interior designer companies in Reno Nation. How do we balance out that energy? Say, for example, I know that the yin energy is very strong here. Then we would ask the designer, is it okay for you all to design the area to be brighter? Can we try to brighten up the place a little bit to balance the yang energy over here? Can we make the whole house a bit brighter? Say, imagine if your house is already facing the hospital, right? And we are already receiving yin energy, and you use black color, you use like very dark colors, and you have a lot of plants and stuff like that, and you raise the overall yin energy of the house. This is the yin and yang balance, out of balance already. And if your chart is full of yang energy, that's still fine. If your chart is full of yin energy, the chances of you falling sick can be very, very high. The inverse is also true, right? If you are facing a very big, open, expensive area where there's a lot of young energy coming in, and your house is very bright, very overpowering colors, and your own chart is all strong young energy, Would it make you very bad-tempered? It definitely would. Would you feel restless in the house? It definitely would. So choosing a site is only the first step. Designing the house together with the interior designer and the feng shui master is then the second step. How do you make use of the surrounding energy to enhance the experience of staying there is quite important.
Okay, thank you, Master Mark. Okay, probably we will have a question.
So I have a question because I saw my staff answering a question. Just now I mentioned that if you see something that is not good, right, you want to buy higher floor units, right? The reverse is true. If your directions is super good and your surrounding is super good, say for example, you can see a body of water, your scenery is very good. This is when you want to buy lower unit. Because the energy is good, you want to try to absorb the energy a bit more. So it's not always buying by higher unit is always better. The developer will tell you buy higher unit always better. But the feng shui master sometimes will tell you buy lower unit is better if the surrounding energy is good and suitable for you and is facing a good direction. Yeah.
Okay. So Master Mark, does that apply to Plantation Creek that has a pond facing the development?
Plantation Creek pond, yes. So if you are facing the pond, you are facing inwards, which means that the energy there, you cannot build any more buildings around there. You don't have like new unexpected things happening there. So you buy low unit if the direction is suitable for you and the direction is good. Go ahead and buy the low unit. It's okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Master Mark. Okay, so we have a question for Kenneth. That's Yan Hao actually, wait, let me see. Okay, so there's someone actually asked like, what's the difference between selecting a contractor and an ID?
Oh yeah. Okay, I actually was typing about that's Charlene, right? Okay. So basically for contractor wise, you do save a bit more money. But you need to have time. Now everyone work from home, but you need to have time to organize who to come first. For example, someone to lay over the protectors on the floor. Someone you do the painting first or the aircon unit first. Because if you have the aircon unit, it's not ready. Then after that you paint, that means behind the aircon unit is not painted. And this kind of stuff is what IDs help you with the project management. Manage who to come first, who to come next, and how many manpower to do it. So time versus money lah. See which one you have an expense to.
Okay, cool. Okay, so probably today we have quite a bit of delay. So we'll end off the session with one last question to wrap up for both Kenneth and Master Mark. Okay, so when it comes to feng shui and interior design, right, I believe Kenneth might have said got many received a lot of different like interesting questions, right? About like, can sink really face the toilet or like such interesting stuff. So probably we can debunk this myth about it. Yeah. So Kenneth, do you want to raise up some of the questions, interesting questions?
Yeah, I think now a lot of yuppies, they like to explore a bigger unit as a whole. They want to hack walls. Walls that can be hacked, they will hack to make a study room, etc. Like earlier in one of the slides. So one consideration is people know that the mattress cannot face the door, the bedroom door. So with certain walls that are hacked, what can be done in terms of extending the room space or the living room space? And can the master bedroom, the mattress itself or the common bedroom mattress be facing the room's door? This is one of the common questions to ask.
I think to answer that question, okay, so we need to understand feng shui has two different schools of thoughts. You have the what we call the xiang xue, which is things you can see, and one is the xing xue, which is things that you cannot see. Xiang xue generally tells you about things like, you must not face a mirror, you must not face a sharp edge, you cannot face a corner. And then xing xue is basically the topic I was talking about, the change of energy, what facing is good, how does it work with your parts and stuff like that. Between the two, the more powerful one is the xing xue, which is getting the right direction and stuff like that. But xiang xue is more layman. So a lot of people can go on the internet and and search for something, right? And say, yeah, cannot face window. Generally, what I would my general advice is, if it's something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you want relative distance, right? If you're facing a door and if it's very, very far away, it doesn't bother you, I would still say it's okay. But if it's very, very near the door and it's right there and it's making you uncomfortable, then that is bad feng shui. So we also need to use a bit of our discretion and our own judgment. And if you feel like you cannot trust your judgment, actually designers are very good for that. They would show you perspective 3D drawing to make you understand how to use that space well. Generally, the rule of thumb for xiang xue, which is things you can see, is if it makes you feel relaxed in that space, if it makes you feel like you are not uncomfortable in that space, it should generally be okay. Some people like to have their feet facing the window. Some people like to have window behind their head. This is all a personal preference. Feng shui is not absolutely good or bad. But what is more important is understanding the energy that you need and designing your room and utilizing the energy within that space to help balance out your own energy. I think that is more important from a feng shui master's point of view. It's too easy to Google something and say, wow, this is very bad or this is very good and stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes everyone feel like terrified after reading so many
jittery.
Yeah.
And that's not the whole point. The whole point is the whole point of feng shui is to make you live better. It's not to let you live in fear.
Agree.
Okay, so thank you so much for the sharing, Kenneth and Master Mark.
Thank you, Kenneth. I enjoyed your sharing.
Me too.
Yeah, so we have come to the end of today's session, presented to you by Wei Feng Shui Group and partnering renovation.sg. Thanks for having us, and really glad to see you guys tonight. So thank you and have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Have a good night. Bye.